Welcome to Best Life 30, your 30-day journey to creating the best life possible for yourself. You can just watch this video, or if you want to, sign up for the entire series for free and get the bonus companion worksheets that go with this video. Check the link in the description below. All right, today is day 2, and we're gonna learn how to find our motivation.
I feel like most people in their lives are being allowed to live small. You're allowed to live a small life. Everyone around you would like you to live small. Just do this. You're good at that. Man, take it easy. Chill. When's enough enough? Like, come on, brother. You know where we all these messages you get is basically saying, hey, man, live small.
Yeah.
Life's not a big deal. Live small, enjoy it, chill, smoke a little weed, do whatever you want, right? Like, it's just this get by thing in life. And there's got to be some people who go, no, you're supposed to do something great with your life. You were put here for a purpose. Your way, the way you were born, the way you were raised, your background, your experiences, your giftedness, all prepared you in your way for right now. And you're supposed to do something great with your life. You weren't born here to be average and ordinary. And there's all this messaging that you're average and ordinary, and you're average and ordinary because you belong there, and it's probably someone else's fault you're average and ordinary too. And I'm like, no, it's your life. You're in control. It's no one else's fault, and you're supposed to do something magnificent. That's the consciousness aspect. The last 1,000 years on earth, doing something great has been reserved to this one little group of people, 1% of the population. They're supposed to do something great. They're supposed to live their dreams. We're supposed to watch them, cheer for them, wear their jersey, watch their award show, comment on their posts, clean their houses, right? Feed them in their restaurants. No. The fact of the matter is, you can do those things. You can change your life. And I'm sick and tired of this hero worship. You live small, cheer for everybody else who lives big. No, if you're a school teacher, be the best damn school teacher. Change the world by those little lives you're affecting. If you're on social media, change the world. Play big. You will never do it wrong if your decision is to do the bigger thing than the smaller thing. That's what I would tell you. Stop playing small. Stop thinking small, and don't let anybody tell you you should be small.
Here's the hard truth about getting great. It takes time and dedication. It takes a willingness to accept that you're not yet good enough. It takes the ability to stare at the places that you know that you're weak, to really look at those things and not let it affect your sense of self-esteem and not let it affect your sense of self-worth, so that you can still get the momentum going. But you have to understand that in the beginning, we're all terrible. And as Henri Cartier-Bresson said, your first 10,000 photographs are your worst. And so the thing that really makes great art are the people that continue to push and the people that continue to work and face how inadequate they are and really understand that at the end of the day, greatness is a craft. Greatness is a process. Greatness is a habit. Greatness is the little things that you do every day, over time, going out every day, unafraid of whether or not this is one of the 10,000 terrible things that you're gonna do. It's being unafraid to make those mistakes. It's being unafraid that you're not yet great. And as Marianne Radmacher said, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. And that's it. If you want to be great, that's what you have to do. You've got to get up again tomorrow. You've got to be willing to face another day. You've got to be willing to accept that you've got to get through the bad ideas before you can get to the good. You've got to understand that you have to start as an apprentice. You have to start as a person going and getting tea, and you have to accept that that's the job that you should be playing, that you should be working for somebody else. You should be looking up to somebody else and seeing what they can teach you, because what you know is that you're there to learn. What you know is that you're there to get through the 10,000 bad photographs that you need to get through to ultimately achieve greatness. And if you make the catastrophic error that so many make, to try to tell the world that you're extraordinary today, to try to get the world to follow you and look up to you and think that you're something today, because the people that really win are the ones that invest today, the ones that listen today, the ones that spend every ounce of their energy amassing mastery, getting better every day, working their asses off to improve their skill set, to relentlessly look at the things that they're not doing well, to understand that they have to break themselves down and get rid of all of their ego before they can really find greatness. Those are the people that we remember. So if you want to be remembered, if you want to achieve real greatness, you just need to have the courage to show up every day and take another swing, take another photo, try another task, do something that scares you, and do those little things over and over and over until you win.
If you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, be what you say you're gonna be, you're gonna have to lion me out. That gazelle stuff, I'm trying to tell you. You a gazelle, you're gonna come up short. You a gazelle, you're not always gonna get what you want out of life. You a gazelle, you're gonna have an average experience. You a student, I need you in lion mode. You a teacher, I need you in lion mode. You an entrepreneur, I need you in lion mode. You trying to lose weight, lion mode. You can't do nothing significant in gazelle mode, nothing. Nothing impressive happens in gazelle mode. Nothing happens when you run it. Nothing happens in run mode, give up mode, quit mode, scared mode, fearful mode. Nothing happens. Everything happens in lion mode like I'm coming to get you. I love it. Y'all ever seen the one where the lioness is kind of sitting there and she double dutching and all the beasts is running by and they just keep going. And she just in preparation mode. And out of nowhere, there's no music, no preparation. You just see my man come out of nowhere and just boom, bam, grab one, boom. Boom, rip your heart out. That's lion mode, and you gotta get to a place where you start executing. Somebody just helped me out. Last year, the greatest news in the NBA, the greatest story in the NBA last year was what? Greatest story told in the NBA last year, off season was what? Kevin Durant left to go to Golden State. Durant like, I'm out. I don't know where y'all come from, but that hurt hard because they supposed to be boys. Look at this picture for a minute. Because this is why, if you're gonna be successful, this is where I need you to go right here. What a pick. This was the one where you play your boy first game, you and your homie was cool, right? And this is where you emotionally cut him. This is when you cut my man. This is when you see my man and he trying to be cool. He trying to act like he ain't leave you high and dry. He trying to act like the goals and the dreams y'all have. This the one where he clapping and you look my man in his face and say, you dead to me. And that's why most of you will never be successful because there's some stuff in your past you keep holding on to. And you got to get to a point when you ready to grind and you ready to get to the next level. You look at people you used to be close to and say, you dead to me. You dead. 42 triple doubles. We shouldn't even be talking about the MVP. Ain't nobody else even. If somebody else make it close to the MVP, the NBA is rigged and I'm through with them. They saw my man at the beginning of the season. I'm talking about high octane. They said if he keep doing that all season, what's gonna happen? They said he keep running himself like that, he's gonna burn out. My man ain't burnt out. He don't look like he ain't close to burn out. But you know why they said it? Because they can't operate on that level for that long. So people will try to put their limitations on you. I can do 6 gigs. I can do 7. We can leave here tonight. You can take me to a church. I'll give you another hour. You can't do it. Don't put your limitations on me. I'm dead to your limitations. Your limitations don't exist in my world. Those are your limitations. Keep them. Go home, watch them on TV. Go home, read the newspaper about. Go home and look in the mirror. Go home, call your homeboy, and y'all talk about your limitations. I ain't got none. I get off the plane from going to Dubai and get on the ground and I hit it. And some of y'all holding on to stuff you shouldn't be holding on to. It should be dead to you. Doggone, go do a funeral if you need to. Get rid of that junk. Like bury it. Do whatever you got to do. But it's weighing you down. It's killing you. Every day you waking up thinking about it. You shouldn't be thinking about it no more. It should be dead to you. Move on. And move towards your greatness. I forget those things which are behind. And I press. I press towards the thing. I press. I don't got time for that no more. It's nothing personal. I ain't got nothing against you. I don't hate you, but I love me.
What if I told you this was the last Monday morning of your life? What if I told you you die this week? Would you complain about your crap job or that test you don't want to take? I doubt it. You would go much higher level thinking. Well, that's really what it takes. It takes understanding that if you're not pumped right now, if you're begrudging what you're about to do, if you're not looking forward to it, look, I respect practicality. You gotta go through school because your parents want to. You gotta pay your rent. You got student loans, I get it. But please recognize the world we're living in. We're living in a world where there's so much more opportunity. This internet thing created way more opportunity for all of us, way more. I mean, look, you might not even be alive. Like, your mom and dad could have had sex like 3 minutes later and you wouldn't even exist, and you're complaining. You could have ended up being a bus, a tree. I just don't get the mentality of being head down sad on a Monday morning. I'm gonna make Monday morning my I'm gonna make you Saturday, Monday morning. That's what I wanna do every morning, and that's what I want from you. Please, take a step back and think about how awesome it actually is. And then recognize that you can attack the world in a totally different way because you were lucky enough to be born during this era.
For several years, I gave myself a way out.
When you were 300 pounds?
When I was 300 pounds, when I was, all the way up until I was 24 years old. I would climb a mountain, I'd fall back down. I start climbing, I fall back down for the first 24 years of my life. I went to my first Hell Week, my second Hell Week, and then my third Hell Week came in SEAL training, and the CEO, Captain Bowen, looked at me. I'm on crutches, I'm all jacked up. He says, hey, this is your last time you're gonna go through buds. This is it. I had several stress fractures. I had double pneumonia, I was jacked up, and he gave me a few months to heal. And he said, this is your last time going through. I shouldn't even let you go back through.
Wow.
I started Navy SEAL training with stress fractures. Stress fractures, not splints.
That's hard to finish.
Stress fractures. Starting the hardest training, arguably the hardest training in the world with stress fractures. And this is when I started to not put a cap on the body if the mind is there. Every morning I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, go to my dive cage, go in there before anybody saw me. I'd get duct tape, and I would tape from my forefoot all the way up to the mid of my calf, and I would put 2 black socks on. And so I ran not using the pivot.
Oh my gosh.
And I ran my hip flexors. So for the first 45 minutes to an hour, I was in absolute excruciating pain. But what motivated me through that whole process was the fact that this kid came from that. I'm in the hardest training in the world, in the worst shape of my entire life. What if I can graduate amongst these studs?
Wow.
All these guys around me are studs. They're stallions. They're gladiators in my class. They're all healthy. Most of them. They're not broken like this. They may have some, everybody's sick going through that training. Yeah. But if I can graduate, it would change everything for me. If I can start the hardest training in the world, broken, and graduate. So my mind fed off of that. You are now, from the weakest man, you are now the hardest man to ever live. If you can do this. If you can do this. Life is one big mind game.
Yeah.
And you're playing it with yourself. Is it true? I don't care. It got me through the hardest training, starting out broken. Where most people quit, I had just started.
Wow.
And when you take that mindset and you learn to flip that around, that's what made me powerful. And my body followed. And 3 months later, my stress fractures were healed by running on them.
When I was a kid, I used to always visualize stadiums and like, even when I was playing football, I'd kick the ball against the wall and I'd pretend that I scored a goal and I'd run off and I'd be raising my hand and visualizing a arena full of fans. And that was something I'd done as a kid out on my own. I like just running around kicking the ball. So I always had these visions of something, but I just didn't know what it was. And then I suppose when I came to these events and I started training MMA and then came to an event, it was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. And then, now I'm doing it.
But did you ever have, let's call it a normal job, Conor, a 9 to 5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the Irish thing is to get into a trade straight away. I was no different. As soon as I finished school, I was always getting pestered. What are you doing with your life? You're doing this, doing that. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know if MMA was. They didn't know what none of this. They didn't know I could make a career out of it. As far as they were concerned, my man and dad I'm talking about, as far as they were concerned, I was just getting into a cage and fighting with some other guy. They didn't know nothing about it. No one did really, but I knew. You know what I mean? I knew. But and then I ended up getting a trade just to keep them quiet, because I used to have a lot of fights with my dad.
What trade did you get?
I ended up getting a trade as a plumber.
How bad was that?
The plumbing?
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Were you actually in the trenches?
I mean, it was an industrial.
Ooh.
So it'd be like building this. It'd be like the plumbing that would be needed in a place like this, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the motorway. And I used to have to walk for about an hour to get to the motorway, and then I'd stand on the edge of the motorway and wait for a bloke to drive by. So he'd give me a lift, and then the motorway was like getting renovation at the time, so it'd take me 2.5 hours to get to the place. It was out in the country. Then I'd be there for 10 hours walking, and I was at first year, so I was the worst of the worst, you know what I mean? It was only beginning. Then 2 hours to get back in the traffic again. It was just a horrible, horrible time, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this, and then I just left. I lasted 18 months doing it, but it was tough, you know what I mean? Just it wasn't the life for me, you know what I mean? And then John said, because I was training with John as well at the time, and then John got in touch and says, I have a show, I'm running a show, I'd like to fight on it. And then that was it. I just packed it in, didn't show up. My dad used to come in and punch the head out of me and like try and drag me out of bed, and I just wouldn't go, you know what I mean? I had uproar for a good few years with him over it, and that was it. I just packed it in, quit, and then focused on training. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get here. They didn't. There's a lot of stressful years, you know what I mean? A lot of tough times, but I proved them wrong. I proved myself right. But everything I do in my life is related to this. I don't do nothing else if it's not got to do with fighting. You know what I mean? And that is why. You know what I mean? To be true.
Is that nearly?
All you've got to do is show up.
Is that not unhealthy?
I don't know. Do I look unhealthy? Take a look at this physique. I'm in phenomenal shape, in body and mind. To me, what's unhealthy is living an unhealthy life. To me, what's unhealthy is getting up and going through the same day every day of your life, 9 to 5 in an office or in a. You know, that's unhealthy. That beats your mind. I don't work. I love what I do, and that's why I'm doing what I love. You know what I mean? That's why it's become a career for me, because I love it. I love what I do.
Nobody's ever had to motivate me in my whole life. Nobody ever had to motivate Steve Jobs in his whole life. Nobody ever had to motivate Henry Ford, the first, in his whole life. And I can go down the list of every single one. My experience for the people that are the most successful, the Hall of Famers, the billionaires that I've made like God out of clay, I didn't have to motivate them. So what does that tell you about? Forget this room. Let's say that you're an anomaly, this room. We know that's a lie, but I'm going to sound like the gurus, the guys that you followed heretofore, and lie to you a little. We know you don't need motivation, but what about those poor that do need motivation? What does that say about them? Forget about it. Next. Nobody ever, my kids, our kids hate hearing this story, but still one of the guys that I work for on Wall Street, for a Wall Street firm, who says he gave me my first legitimate job, tells the kids, and he's the godfather to one of our children. He says, we used to have the security guards drag your father from the office and make him go home to sleep after 5-6 days straight. The security guards dragged me from the office. My kids hate hearing that. I used to take a sponge bath in the men's room and have my secretary go buy me a new shirt every day. And I used to have a proclivity of dropping shit on my ties, so I used to have to buy a lot of ties too. So then I realized if you buy dark ties, it doesn't show. You don't have to buy as many ties. But they had to drag me out of the office. I used to be able to go 2-3 days with no sleep.
and I drank in all night. Guys, if you don't think you can all night, guess what? You can't all night. QLA is exactly the same. I can tell hardly anybody in this room has ever all night. But nobody's ever had to tune me up to get me to work hard.
I've always wanted a six-pack, and I don't have it. And I don't know, and I've never had it. And when I finally stopped complaining about it, when I got honest about what it was going to require. Oh, I'm dead serious. Dead serious about this. At 49, with my affinity for alcohol and my love of carbs and my distaste for exercise, I have a small problem on my hands if I want a six-pack. So if you were to go forward, right, and think, okay, well, if a year from now I had a six-pack, what would my day-to-day life look like? Ooh. And you can get very clear that you're not committed to that. And then you can stop beating yourself up for the you never intend on doing. What I realized is I can spend 4 minutes a day in a hotel room or in my bedroom doing planks, and my arms look great, and everybody else will think the rest of my body's in shape. And we're good. We're good. Yes. It worked like a charm. So you might want to get honest with yourself. Like, instead of doing this I want to be a millionaire, I want to do this. Do you really? Because you can make it happen. You actually can. Look at all the idiots that are making money. You can make money. But you're going to have to roll the clock forward just a year and say, okay, if I'm able to put $1,000 a month against my debt, I'm able to make X amount of dollars a month, I'm able to put X amount of dollars in savings, what do I need to be doing a year from now to make that happen? And what are those habits that are there a year from now that I don't have right now? And then roll yourself back to this moment, just like I explained with exercise. Do I actually not want to have a Manhattan tonight? Nope. Did I want to go to the gym today? Nope. Am I willing to not eat what I ate for breakfast? Nope. Am I willing? I did my 4 minutes. My arms are looking really good. But so bring it back, and then you will have the formula for pivoting at any moment. You time travel forward a year. You investigate the patterns that you have that are giving you the result that you want, and then you back your ass up to right here, right now. And you decide, am I willing to do this now? If I'm willing, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 through all the excuses that are going to be there when you're trying to override your operating system. That's how you do it. Or you have the reality check like I had, which is, oh, I just like to bitch. I don't intend on changing, so why don't we get this off the plate? And let's focus on the things that I am actually committed to.
Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that. Everyone hears that. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either. It took hundreds of years for Rome to reach its peak, but it also took time, hundreds of years, for Rome to decay and fall apart. And that is representative of life, because you don't achieve worthwhile goals quickly or easily. They take time. They take struggle. They take relentless pursuit day in and day out. That's what it takes. But also, things don't usually fall apart quickly either. At least at first, it's a slow process. A little slip here, a little setback over there, a little wearing down of discipline and will over time. That's the thing. Success and failure are generally slow processes. Either slowly building things up or gradually tearing them down. And that's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch. You have to watch every single second. Because those seconds, they turn into minutes. And minutes turn into hours, and hours turn into days, and days turn into years. And so, that second that just went by, that counted. And so did that second. And so did that one. And in those precious seconds, you were either building or you were decaying. You were either gaining ground or you were losing ground in that second. And in every second. Every second counts. So, make every second count.
You know, I don't really like the word inspiration. I like the word motivation, because I think the working part always matters more than the inspiration part. Work is always more important than the idea. And as far as motivation, you know, I'm motivated by everything around me. I'm motivated by my kid. I'm motivated by other people's work. I'm motivated by the people that I work with. I'm like a sponge. I absorb the motivation to do my work from everything around me.
Most people procrastinate because they don't feel confident that what they're doing really motivates them. If it really motivated you, you wouldn't procrastinate. It's like a 14-year-old kid that the mom and dad can't get the kid to do anything, but the kid's motivated to play video games. The kid will ride his bike across town to buy a video game and come back. So there's motivation there. The parents just don't know how to find it. And as you grow, you have to know how to find deep within yourself that motivation. And once you have motivation, you have no problem with procrastination.
The turning point for me was it was Halloween last year. And I'd never suffered any more anxiety attacks or anything since about mid to late summer that year, like 17. But I was still drinking and still going out partying and whatever, and I didn't value nothing at all. But every time I got drunk, I'd come home and I'd say, right, I'm starting training in the morning, regain mission. I'm going to be the heavyweight champion of the world again. You watch.
You were 400 pounds.
400 pounds. I was the man who called Wolf 1,000 times. Phone all my friends up, phone chain up, get them all going. Come on, we're going to do it Monday. Monday had come, no, I do not want to box anymore. Finished. Turning point was, I went out Halloween dressed as a skeleton in a fancy dress party. I went out about 9 o'clock and I expected to stay out all night and get smashed. I had one drink. I looked around me and I thought, what am I doing? I said to myself, you're telling me that you would rather be here with a load of kids half your age? Because I feel like the old person now when I go out. I'm 30. Yeah. They're all 18 and like, I know it's 21 over here, but over home it's 18. They're all like 18, 19, 20, 21. And I'm like the old guy in the disco bopping around. Is this it? You traded having all them achievements for what? And I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I just knew it. I couldn't do it. I'd said so many times I was going to do it and believed I was going to do it in the night. The next day come, I didn't have no motivation to do it. That's another thing that mental health will give you, zero motivation to do anything. Zero motivation to have a shave, zero to brush your teeth, even have a shower, nothing. I got back that night and my wife thought I was drunk. I come home early. She says, oh, you're home early. I said, yeah. I said, I've had enough of this life. I said, tomorrow, I said, I start to turn my life around.
And this was Halloween night.
Yeah.
2017.
She said, yeah, I've heard it all before. Because I'm the man who cried wolf 1,000 times. I said, I promise you. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it. And nobody believed me. But I knew I had a smile on my face, twinkle in my eye, and I knew I had to get that weight off. By the way, at this time, I was looking at a 12-year ban. I'd failed 2 drugs tests for cocaine, because all the time I was out, I was still doing random drugs tests. So I had cocaine in my system on 2 occasions. The British Boxing Board of Control had suspended my licence. I was deemed medically unfit to fight by the leading psychiatrist in the country. And I had millions of pounds, millions of dollars in lawyers' fees to pay on ongoing battle in court cases. But I am so confident that I'm going to come back and everything's going to be swept away. The odds of me overcoming all them obstacles, never mind the weight and the mental health, is like 0. It's not possible. He ain't coming back because he can't. From that day, I got my tracksuit on in the morning and I was going to run 2 mile. I got about 200 yards and stopped. And I thought, right, I can't run. I've run all my life. I've always been a very good runner. And I got 200 yards and I was totally gone. I could feel my belly moving on it. It wasn't like a fat like jelly. It was like solid brick. It was a horrible feeling. I thought, okay, I'm going to walk the rest. And I walked. Wow. And while I was walking, I was on my phone and I saw a little video from Deontay Wilder. And he said, Tyson Fury let himself down, let his family down. He said, he's that fat, he'd never come back. He said, and I'm glad he's gone because I'd have knocked him out anyway. Just rambling on nonsense here. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to give it you proper. You're my motivation now. Wow. I'm coming back to get you. And every day I'd go out on the canal and I'd do a little run in my sweatsuit. And every day I'd get a little bit further until I was doing 4 and 5 mile again.
Consistently, every day.
Every single
never
day.
Set back. Never said, no, that's enough for today. No.
Even in the rain, I was out with me Mac on, running. I'm going to tell you something else. I've already won. Because whether I win the fight or not on December the 1st, I'm a winner.
Oh, I think it's one of the greatest comebacks.
Because I've come back from every possible disadvantage to being healthy. I'm studying now 255 pounds in shape, in a mentally great place. And I feel so great. I've got a few marks on me, but I love it. I'm in the ring sparring, I'm struggling in the ring because it's so much not air, but I'm so happy that I'm in there and I'm like, I'm back doing what I love to do.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the best Life 30 questions of the day. It's not enough to just watch a video, you have to do something. So pull out your worksheets and answer these questions, and if you don't have the worksheets and you want them for free, check out the link in the description below. Question number 1, what does playing at a bigger level look like for you? Number 2, what specific steps do you need to take to make it happen? And number 3, how will you find your motivation consistently so it becomes a habit? And if you are doing the Best Life 30 challenge with me, put a hashtag BestLife30 down in the comments below so we can celebrate with you. Chasing down your dream, even if everyone around you thinks you're crazy, is the only way you're gonna win. I like to say that everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. Everyone, yes, you, right there, you could be the greatest of all time at something. The problem is most of us settle for something just over survival, something just good enough to get by, instead of going for something that you could be the greatest of all time at. The toughest choice I ever had to make in my life was whether I should become an entrepreneur or go take this 6-figure job traveling around the world in investment banking. And I thought I wanted to be an investment banker, but I had this thing gnawing at me saying I need to at least try this entrepreneurship path, just to test, just to see. Nobody in my family was an entrepreneur. I didn't have an upbringing of entrepreneurship. I didn't have heroes or role models around me who were entrepreneurs that I wanted to model and be like them. I thought I wanted to be a banker. But when this opportunity came up, I did not want to live with regret. That's the final filter through which I made my decision. I looked at the 2 decisions. This is where you can't just make your list. When you're faced with a really tough decision, you have to make your big decisions with your heart and the small ones with the head. What do? The the most difficult decision of my life. What do? Do I take this job, or do I try to be an entrepreneur, make $300 a month and have 30% of a company? What's the best call? I did not want to live with regret. I asked myself, if I'm 100 years old and I'm sitting on a rocking chair and I'm in a retirement home and I'm about to go, this is it. This is the end of my life. When I look back on this moment right now, I look back on it, what will I regret more? Saying no to the job or saying no to the business? And I thought, you know what? I can always get another job. I could. It may not be the same job. It may not be in Asia like this one was. It may not be traveling as much, but I can get another job that's similar. This business, I don't know if I'm ever going to get the shot again. I don't know if this will ever come around again. I'm going to regret it if I don't know. And I adopted the mentality that I would rather know and fail than not know. I had to know. If you want to join the Best Life 30 Challenge, click the link right here below me. Or if you want some more videos to boost your motivation, check out the playlist right here next to me. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.